Welcome to the EdTechUnpacked podcast, where we inspire and equip educators to create meaningful learning experiences, highlighting a thoughtful approach to the integration of technology as we teach and transform the lives of our students. I'm Aaron Long.
And I'm Desmond Suarez, and we are passionate about helping educators learn how to better use technology and engage their students. Today, I really don't know what the outcome is going to be of this episode. We are going to be exploring OpenAI with Chat GPT versus Google AI with Gemini and all their tools, and which one is better to lesson plan. I'm excited to figure out what it is.
Hey, so as we do this, Desmond, I'm excited as well because we're welcoming a special guest today. I'd like to introduce Israel Mendez. He's a co-worker of mine here at Burton Adventist Academy. He's our 7th grade homeroom teacher and junior high math teacher. Hey, welcome, Israel. Share a little bit with us about yourself, if you don't mind, for a moment so we can get to know you.
Thank you, guys. I'm glad to be here. I'm going into my 7th year of teaching, and I just completed my 2nd year here at Burton. And like you said, I am the 7th grade homeroom teacher, but my focus here is 6th through 8th math. So I'm excited for the opportunity.
It's awesome. So before you came to Burton, Israel, do you mind sharing just for a moment about what was your background in education?
Yes. So I'm going into my 7th year, 2 years here at Burton. So for those last 5 years, I've been at public school working with 5th grade. So the challenges and the stress of preparing kids to pass the STAR test was real. So 5th grade. That? No. No, I do not. Preparing them for the math test is also a challenge, but the Adventist education system is just, I would say, on a different level in a good way.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hey, thanks for sharing a little bit, Israel. We're excited to have you here. We'll share a little bit more in a moment about the ground rules here, but I have a question for you guys this morning, just a get to know you type of question here that we like to do on topic today. So we're kind of diving into all things lesson planning using AI. So I'm curious, Desmond, let's start with you. What did your lesson planning look like in your first year of teaching?
My lesson planning, I'll be honest, has never looked as good as it was supposed to. And for those teachers that do amazing formatted lesson plans, it's awesome. But yeah, I remember I had my first year teaching at the same school that I student taught. And during student teaching, you don't have a choice. You've got to have well-formatted lesson plans. And then I remember trying to off and on try to format them. And I don't remember exactly how I did it. To create lesson plans. It was a lot of really rushed trying to figure out what to do. And I remember at the beginning of my student teaching, getting a few times where I didn't have enough stuff planned, getting partway through the lesson, and then realizing 3/4 through the time, I'm done. I don't know what to do now. I've rarely had that problem since.
Hey, so I'm curious. So Desmond, what year was that?
Oh, that was 2011, 2012.
Okay, so technology was fully, implemented in education at that point. I'm curious though, was this a physical book or were you lesson planning in the digital realm?
The school I was teaching at still doesn't have one-to-one. The school I'm teaching at now does, and but that time the school did not have one-to-one and still doesn't.
From a lesson planning standpoint, though, were you using a physical book for your teacher lesson plans?
I'm sure I was using Google Docs.
Okay.
Or Word, one of the two.
We definitely have had very different experiences.
Probably Word. So. Yeah. It was the digital writing the lesson plan, but physical books in the classroom.
Okay, very good. All right, hey, Israel, share with us year 7 here, but go back 7 years. All right, it wasn't terribly long ago, but what did your first year lesson planning look like?
Well, if I'm being honest, I believe it was a complete mirroring of what my coworker was doing. I came in and I had a good support system. My coworkers really helped me out. And then it became a collaboration of my ideas with their ideas until I was able to kind of wing off and do it on my own. But I do remember it was paper, and then I was transferring it over to some Google document. Yeah, I was like thinking, I only go back to 2017. So yes, there was there was online, of course. It's hard for me to separate my age and the time teaching but no, it was paper and then transferring over to an online word processor that we could maybe share on Google Drive.
You guys definitely got to the digital side quicker than me. Even though I love technology, I didn't start there. And my experience, do you guys remember these books, lesson plan books that would have, like, you open them up and it's 2 pages of just boxes, and you'd have Monday through Friday in columns, and then your subjects down the left-hand side. You remember that? You guys ever use those?
I was given one as a gift after I finished student teaching, and I never used it. It was a really nice gift.
Well, that's what I used. And, you think back to, like, how, I don't know if naive is the right word, but just, when you're starting out, everything's basic. Maybe some of you first-year teachers out there are like, next level because you've been, fully trained to use the tools available. Our tool was a paper lesson plan book. That's what everybody used when I started back in 2002. Okay. Now, maybe some people ahead of their time used technology, but I didn't. And I just had such a sense of satisfaction if I could fill up a little tiny box for, say, math, Monday math. If I could fill that tiny box with my writing, I looked at the whole page and it was full. I thought, man, wow, I've got these really well done lesson plans. And at least I'd have something to point to if somebody came in to check, which happened occasionally.
That was one of the big reasons why I wasn't planned.
Yeah. But, it was basic. It would look like, Chapter 4, Lesson 2, numbers 12 through 28 evens. And, it was super basic because I only had this tiny little box. And so I think back to then compared to now, like the resources available to me honestly blows me away. So, hey, if you're an Adventist teacher out there teaching in a Seventh Adventist school, we understand that, a lot of times you don't have the resources around you to help with this type of thing. This episode is for you. If you're in public school, a lot of times, like Israel painted that picture, you're working as part of a team. Other private schools as well, perhaps, charter schools, maybe that's your environment. And so, hey, good for you if you have a team to kind of rally around and support you that you can cheat off of until you get rolling. But many of us don't have that. Okay, we're a one-man show with our classroom, one-woman show, and so we have to rely on the resources available. But I would say even if you are part of a team, what a great opportunity to become a contributor if you're not. If you're taking a lead in that regard, what a great opportunity today's episode presents to streamline your process while also enriching it. So we're excited to share a bit. We're not saying it's the perfect solution for everybody, but let's go ahead and get to the concept here so we can talk about what exactly we're doing. So I'm going to credit Desmond with this idea for the episode here. He pinged me a while back like, hey, what if we did this thing where we pitted two kind of top AIs against each other to see which platform could generate a better lesson plan and help a teacher prepare to teach a unit of study. So we're looking at like a 2-day unit. Okay, what does a 2-day unit of prep look like? How efficient can AI be at helping with that planning process? And then ultimately, 2 things in my mind, Desmond, so chime in if this was different for you, but I'm thinking, will it be quality enough to actually use it? Okay, will this be something I could say, yes, this is so good, I'm using this is great. And for me, number 2 was, in a close second, how much time can it save in the process? So those were my top 2 things as I was playing around, preparing for this episode. So anything to add there about kind of our ground rules for this project?
Well, first, yeah. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and go through the ground rules before we unpack. But we brought Israel here to be our mediator. Israel is my I met him yesterday over the phone, but friend of and coworker of Aaron. I'm excited to do this episode with you, Israel. But as we talk to Israel, I think you're going to be like the perfect person to help us with this. Someone who's excited to adopt new things, but you've just barely dipped your toe into AI. Is that right?
Yes. I mean, keeping up with the latest technology is just, it's too much, overwhelming.
And so we wanted to bring a teacher on who was, interested in maybe using AI, but hadn't yet really done a whole lot with it, to be our judge, to be our adjudicator, to figure out which tool is better. So today I'm going to be using the paid version, the $20 a month version of Google AI and its tools, including Gemini and some other stuff. And Aaron is going to be using OpenAI's $20 a month plan with Chat GPT and the other tools. And each of us are going to have 10 minutes to do a lesson plan on the same standards, and it's a 2-day lesson. Now the advantage you really have is we chose a math standard because Israel's a math teacher, Aaron's a former math teacher. I've never taught math. At one point in college, I thought I wanted to teach math, and so I actually was a math minor for a while until, I'm going to admit on this pod, I failed calculus, and that was it.
A lot of people fail calculus, Desmond, so that's okay.
My only F in college, and I could have gone back and fixed it, and I was like, not worth it. So that is our challenge today. We're going to create lessons in 10 minutes using the AI. Both of us have played around with it, but we're going to try and create new lessons for you in less than 10 minutes. And if we have something to talk about in the middle of it, we'll pause it, we'll talk, and then we'll resume the time. So let's unpack the tech.
Let's unpack the tech.
Unpack the tech.
All right, Desmond, I've got my timer here ready to go. We're going to get you set up, or you're going to get yourself set up here to share your screen.
Do you mind if I share? If I do my timer, that way I can see how much time I have left.
Ahead.
You can keep one too to keep me honest. But all right, I'm about to start a timer for 10 minutes. I'm starting with a blank Gemini screen. I do have, you'll see in a minute, a Google Doc with some notes in it and some plans. And actually, I'm going to delete the stuff that I came up with before. No, I have nothing in there. Okay. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and start my 10-minute timer. Boom. I
already started your timer.
Oh, man. I just started. I hadn't done anything. All right. So this is Gemini. It's a basic text prompt. So this is kind of what I was thinking is that as a teacher, I would grab this stuff and I would just keep this ready to go. So I'm going to tell Gemini to develop a lesson plan.
Do you want to give it the topic?
Yeah, I'm going to give it the topic. I need to use these standards. And I have the standards ready to go. Here is, we have the two standards we're using are from the North American Division of Seventh-day Adventists, and it says analyze and apply proportional relationships. And I'm trying to format this so it looks good. And the other one is from Common Core, and it says, and I'm going to leave the example out, but compute unit rates associated with ratios of fractions, including ratios of lengths, areas, and other qualities measured in like or different units. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put that. So the idea here is that as a teacher, I would just have this stuff ready to go, and I would paste in the new standards when I go to lesson plan. And I'm going to ask it to do it. Oh, actually, I had a better idea. Before I start it, I'm gonna start over because there's one idea I had to start before. I'm using against my time, but I'm gonna say come up with an engaging theme. I'm gonna come up with engaging themes to teach, and I'm just gonna do one of my.
I like that second one. The Common Core description was better. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to use that to teach the following standard to 7th graders, right? That's what we're doing. Because sometimes that's the hardest thing as a teacher is being creative. So it's going to give me several things, and I could do, there's different models. I'm just doing the Flash one, which is pretty fast. It's the Global Chef Challenge. That sounds fun. And then there's a DIY designer, athletic analysis with sports. Depends on the students you have in your class. I've had some students who are really into sports. That would be good. But then the other half that don't care would be left out.
Those are really good themes. Honestly, they almost all appeal to me. So
survival skills, mad science lab. And actually, I think I'm going to do one that I saw yesterday, which was in the same process, which was snacking. I thought that was good. So now I'm going to paste in, and I'm losing my time already. But actually, I'm going to, develop. I did have theme. Develop a lesson plan. Oh man, I'm feeling the pressure at the time for 2 days using the theme of eating snacks, not just making them, eating them. For 7th graders. With these standards. And I know I already put that other one in there, so I wouldn't have to do this, but I just like to, the AIs work better if you are clearer. And so I am trying to be as clear as possible. You want to constrain them. All right, now we're going to do this snack attack day 1, and I'm going to try and skim through this so I don't waste too much of my time. But it is day 1 snack attack, understanding unit rates of fractions. Students will has a learning objective. Students will be able to compute unit rates associated with ratios of fractions, including ratios of quantities measured in like or different units. And then it gives me some materials I need: whiteboard or projector, markers and pens, index cards, and so on. A pre-assessment that it gave me, and it gives me the expected time, which is 10 minutes, which mine is ticking away. Oh, I'm half done. Oh, I'm not going to finish. And it has you give examples of you give some example statements to the students to do true or false. And then it gives you, I'm going to go quickly. It gives you a hook, ultimate snack deal. Imagine you're at a grocery store and you want to get the best deal in your favorite snacks. How do you figure that out? And then, so you go through some of those in a hook, because that's what 7th graders want. My son's going into 7th grade. That's how I have the in on this. And then it gives you some math to do with examples as it builds up. Then it has a 15-minute activity where you create a handout with 3 to 4 scenarios, and I can ask it to do those. It actually gives me example scenarios where the students calculate the unit rates. So juice box deal, a pack of juice boxes containing 1/2 liter of juice for 1/3 of the pack. How much juice is in a full pack, liters per pack. And stop me if you see some bad math, because sometimes it might do that. So it has one on popcorn prep and one on cookies, one on cereal box weight. Then it gets some practice problems, 2 practice problems, word problems. And then it gives me some homework that are instructions. Find 2 different snack items. Oh, I like this. It's not just like a straight up assignment. 2 different snack items or any food item at home or from a grocery store I'm struggling at the time, that have fractional qualities mentioned, servings per container. For each item, write down the quantities and calculate the unit rate. For example, if a bag of chips is 1/2 pound and 4 servings, the unit pound per serving. So then it goes into day 2, and I might have to like just not read all that so I can get to my next thing. Because I also would like to, here's one you're not going to expect, Aaron, create a game. And I clicked on Canvas at the bottom. Create a game that teaches the students this concept. Make it animated and interactive.
Hey, while you're doing this, what is the Canvas option, Desmond, for those?
So it will, I just started playing with it yesterday, but it can make apps for you. On the fly apps. While it does that, I'm going to actually what happens? I click video here. No, it's still thinking. I'm going to go to VO3 Flow, which is a video, and unfortunately, this is kind of expensive. In that you only get a few per month. So you couldn't do this per lesson unless you want to pay a lot of money. But I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to do my text to video, and I'm going to do the expensive one because we're here looking at this VO3 quality. I basically have 10 of these if I just do these a month. And I'm going to say, let's see, a dog selling a catnip. Is that one word or 2 words? I don't know. I'm going to say Pixar style dog selling catnip to selling catnip to a cat. And maybe that's too drug related. I'm not going to do that. Selling candy to chipmunks. He says, would you like to buy 10 candies for $1 or 20 for $1? Oh, my time's up. I'm still going to show you this. All right, so that's going. Let's go back to the app. All right, we got this snack. We got this app, and I can click this, and I can copy this link, and I'm going to put it in the rundown. Wrong place. Where's my rundown? I'm going to put it at the top of the rundown for you guys to play with. You can verify that it works. Okay. So I'm going to start game. I haven't played this game before. It's brand new. If a small container of yogurt costs $1.80 for a fourth pound, how much would a full pound of yogurt cost? Round 2 decimal places if needed. Oh man, this is harder math than I'm ready to do on the spot. Do it for me.
Well, I was going to comment on this as Israel's doing it for you. I was shocked. Like every single unit rate question in that generated activity had fractions in it. And I'm like, yes, it's 7th grade and we're building on what's learned in 6th grade, but still
too hard.
That was up there. I mean, you would think there'd be some kind of a stratified, some mixed in. So it was actually, that was rather challenging in my opinion.
So I guess
content.
as a teacher, then what you can do is you can say, these problems are too hard. Can you level it down for me? Or can you have fewer fractions? Give us some whole number problems to start the kids off with.
Yeah. So $7.20. Is that right? So you'd have if a quarter pound's $1.80, it'd be times 4 for a full pound. Yeah.
And a farmer picks, and I don't remember them being this hard yesterday when I played with it. 5/6 of a bushel of apples in 1/3 hour. What is the unit rate of a bushel per hour?
So 15 over 6. Oh, it wants decimals. So 15 divided by 6. What is that? That would be 2 3/5. So 2.6.
2.6. 6.
Oh,
Incorrect. But then it gives an explanation.
2.5. Okay.
But the explanation went away. That was too
It was
quick.
okay. It was 2.5.
So then I could go back and I can actually say like, yeah, I could go back. I'm not going to take the time. Or should I? Yeah, I'm going to do it anyways. Make the questions easier. And then I can say use also make it more of a game. Okay, we're going to let that run. While it does that, here is our video. Should be.
So I don't know if we can count all of this since Desmond's going so far over his time. I mean, we're going to need to exclude some of this content.
Can we go back to the lesson plan? I think that's where I'm at. It's like I'm so blown away. It's like, can we go back? Can we pause?
Yes.
Hit pause.
Yes, I want to see. I don't think the video worked. That's a fail. I want to see if the video worked, and then I will. I'm seeing other videos I've made, but I'm not seeing that video. Oh, today's June 9, right? So it should be this one. No. Oh, I don't know if that video worked.
It's all good. That was like, the eye candy for it. Because I do think that we're not going to, we can't include that in the judging anyway, Desmond, because that was not specific to the ground rules we set.
I don't remember that not being in the ground rules.
If it's Gemini versus GPT,
it's OpenAI versus Google AI. Use VIA or Sora.
I tried. It didn't work out well. It didn't work out well at all.
If there, so here it made it a little simpler. A bag of mini cookies contains a half pound of cookies. That's a lot of cookies. If there are 4 servings in a bag, how many pounds are in a serving?
1/8, but it wants decimals here. I wonder if it would accept. So 1/8 would that be 0.125? I think is the decimal on that.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to add a wrong number, and then you see it gives the explanation.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes it go too fast. So
I
can't go in.
It gives an explanation. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I can go in, and I think I had never done this until yesterday. I think I might actually use this for creating reviews for my students.
So I can see a lot of applications here, but to Israel's point, why don't you go back to the core lesson plan here and let him kind of peruse that if he has questions.
Yeah. I scrolled past that trying to show my flashy stuff.
Yes, you did. We're holding you accountable here since you have all this bonus time.
Okay, so I will go. We ran through day 1, or we did day 1. We didn't get to day 2 really. Do you have questions about this or pushback?
Are we talking to me? Is it me?
Yeah.
Well, no. I'm like I said. I was still I'm so blown away. I'm still in I guess entering the first prompt. But I mean, I think I noticed you just. Editing your prompt or correcting it to a more specific task. And I guess what I would say is, because as all teachers know, we are, time is just valuable and our classes are 45. So could you go back and say, limit this to no more than 45 minutes?
Yeah, let me do it. The whole lesson.
Because I did notice there was a time allotment here.
And it actually, how do I go back? I know there's a way to talk about this specific post, but maybe there's not. I'll have to refer to the lesson plan again. It looks like it actually made it 3 days. And
didn't you ask for 2 days?
I did. So it disobeyed
big
me.
Big strike. Oh my god! Can we even continue with this? I don't know.
Lesson to 1:45. Oh, that's confusing. 1.
So where did the lesson go?
It's up above.
Oh, it's still up. Okay.
So this is all one thing. So I'm going to say change the lesson to 1:45-minute class with 10 minutes of homework. 15 minutes of homework.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Independent practice
15 minutes of homework.
And while he's doing that, you can share these out. You have this little share tool at the bottom. or create a PDF, Israel. You could say, hey, create a PDF of this lesson plan for me. So you can always easily extract these. They're not just stuck in the chat
So
stream.
Canvas video and deep research. I saw you going back and forth through those. Canvas is
and
where
I left Canva selected. My understanding that Canva was the app part, but maybe I'm misunderstanding that because I left it selected. But if I can just unclick it. I can also upload documents, and so this is really helpful if you have material already from like a textbook or other thing, you can upload it and say make a lesson plan from this, which I think is very helpful.
That'd be a great segue into my actual 10-minute time period that I'm going to try to stick to, Desmond. Anytime you're ready, we can try to do that.
Okay, I'm going to stop my share screen. It's up to you, Aaron.
All right. Awesome. All right, so we've jumped over to Chat GPT. I'm using 4.0, and they have some other models out as well, but this seems to be, for me, the most consistent for what I'm looking for. So Desmond was just tiptoeing into you can upload files and whatnot. I just wanted to share that real quick here. So I did some basic training, for this model that I thought, if I was really going to use this in the real world, I don't want to have to tell it the same thing over and over again every time. So let's just create in ChatGPT, you can create projects. So there's kind of two different ways you could accomplish this. The better way I didn't actually spend a lot of time on, and that would be creating a brand new GPT. GPTs are shareable. The theory is that the way I'm doing it here and presenting to you today is not really modifying the core elements of the model, the AI model. If you train your own GPT, you can. So you can define everything about it, give it total boundaries, actually change the way that it processes. The way I'm demonstrating today is the very on-the-fly version. Okay, so this was quicker, and that's why I chose it. I didn't want to do tons of training. I just wanted to give it some light training. So for the light training, I uploaded the Common Core standards and the NAD standards both, just for 7th grade math, because that was what this was relevant to. And you can see here I had a number of different attempts, and I was playing around with it, I guess I need more boundaries here and there. So I'll kind of comment on that more in a moment, but this was nothing exceptional. I didn't actually spend tremendous amounts of time on this, maybe half an hour playing around with it to see, what's a decent level of training. So here's what I came up with. I told it this is a project for teachers to quickly and easily create lesson plans. As noted, when creating a lesson plan, always assume a 2-day unit for each lesson plan. By the way, I didn't hit start on my timer, Desmond.
I did late, but
Now
I think
I'm
you
later.
have 8 minutes left.
Okay. All right. So that's great. Thank you. Let's see here. I said, let's keep it to a 50-minute class period. We could change that to 45. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Students, and I said, so these are the things to keep in mind. Students with various levels of abilities, some remedial and some advanced. Additionally, when generating lesson plans, please always include, so I gave it a list of things to include, just to see how consistent it would be. A Khan Academy introductory video link explaining the concept, a relevant IXL activity practice link practicing the concept, a section for relevant mathematical vocabulary, a math joke relevant to the topic, a thought-provoking lead-in question that has real-world application. Let's say a hook, something like Desmond called it a hook. I like that. Probably the proper term. A link to 1 or 2 additional resources that would be helpful, blah, blah, blah. I said use Desmos where possible. I'm going to take that out because I have not found that to be highly effective. An optional acceleration activity for students who finish early. A group activity in 1 of the 2 days, an exit ticket, multiple choice questions, blah, blah, blah. Where possible, always include a student choice in tiered assignments and an extended learning activity that further challenges students. Please always include student instructions and use the following type of language. So I have a way I like to drop assignments to kids. And I like to use I can statements. So, hey, by the end of this activity, you'll be able to say, if you've mastered it, I can do the following. And so I gave it some basic training there. And then I said, please always ask me if if I would like to create a downloadable PDF handout for students. And then I found a lot of inconsistency in links, so I just was curious if this would help. Please always double check to ensure the links provided are accurate and live. Okay, so there's my training, and I kind of added to that over the different iterations. I would do a test and then say I didn't like this, or I did like this, I didn't like that. And my goal was to get my prompt as short as possible. Okay, so here's my prompt that I've been using. And so here it is. It says, create a lesson plan for students to learn about and practice finding unit rates. Please use the 7N04 standard and align it to the appropriate Common Core standard. So my thinking was, I don't want to have to know what that alignment is, okay? I even did some playing around to ask the model. So before I run this, I'll show you. I did an inquiry to say, all right, okay, what standards cover unit rates? And it did an excellent job of, from what I uploaded, returning an accurate response. So I even thought, wow, you could start, if you just knew the topic as the teacher, hey, what are the standards for this concept? Boom, you can ask it instead of having to know it. So you could even shorten this prompt differently. But here's what I came up with. We're going to go ahead and run it and see what happens. How am I doing on time, Desmond?
I think you have about 5 minutes left.
Okay, that should be enough. I'm literally just going to go through what it produces here, and I'll have some critiques of my own to share. I did find some inconsistencies a little bit when it's correlating to Common Core. It would always grab the correct starting one. So really this is pretty accurate, by the way, but there's maybe some discussion over whether 3 should be included in this range. All right, so it gave me my objectives, and these have been extremely accurate in terms of what I've seen in the previous tries here. Gave me a hook question, okay, if you're driving, and I love the miles per hour. I think this is so appropriate for like a refresh of 6th grade, but then starting this concept for 7th grade. So I found this to be very appropriate every time I would ask a good mile per hour question there. They gave me a link. Let's see if it works. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. These links don't always work. This is one of my critiques, but this one did. So
all right.
Okay, so after I told it to double check the.
Yeah, but it didn't bring it to a video.
Well, so this is an activity here that has videos embedded.
Oh, okay.
So intro to rates. So I accept that with this as a successful attempt. Okay. Now you might quarry with me over that, but that's what I'm willing to work with. Okay, vocabulary. So I love this. It's been spot on with appropriate vocabulary. Just as a quick review with the kids. Instructional plan. It's done a good job here in the past. Let's see though on my IXL link. And part of my instructions were that to tell the kids they needed to score 90 plus, not 100, but 90 plus. So again, I put that in my training so I wouldn't have to say that every time. Let's see. Okay, so it's good. It brought me to an appropriate. In fact, this is the actual unit rates activity. I told Desmond this yesterday, Israel. I was playing around with this, and I actually went back to my Google Classroom lesson plan for this unit, and I looked to see what IXL activity I had manually assigned the kids. It was this one, 2NB. And so what I appreciated is almost every time it's returned that specific one. It's not the only activity that IXL has on unit rates. And that's what I appreciated about it. It seemed to be the appropriate one for the grade level. So I think, it's really 2 for 2 in generating accurate links here.
Was
so
vocabulary far in your training or your command?
Yes. So that was part of the training I gave it. I said always give a list of appropriate vocabulary related to the topic. And so, yes, good question. Math joke. Okay, so maybe you start to reorder.
Did you ask for the joke?
Yes.
I did. Yeah,
I like it. I like it. So your instructions are way better than mine. I've got to give you credit for that.
But you always do the bells and whistles better than me, so I appreciate that too. So the theme, by the way, I didn't play with. I'm like, dude, that's brilliant. Having a solid theme that grabs them. What a great idea.
And the theme I might actually do like for a whole semester or something, or a whole bigger unit. But then you can ask it to do the theme every time.
I like
the same theme.
So why did the student do multiplication problems on the floor? because the teacher told him not to use tables. Is this a unit rate joke? I don't know, but hey, it's a joke. All right. It's hit and miss. I've had some that are like definite hilarious unit rate jokes, some that are not. Got the exit ticket question here. I like it. This is another good basic but kind of intro appropriate question for unit rates.
Part of the training, was that a formative assessment, or just did you specify exit ticket?
I specified exit ticket. Yeah. So for me, I'm just thinking a quick a check of understanding, And so, by the way, this is notable. I tried having it produce Google Forms for me, and it would think it did, and it didn't. And then I, looked a little further. It cannot do that yet. Okay. So it would even create a link to the Google form it didn't create. It was a bogus link. So then I went back and said, eventually, just create the questions with the answer options. And then I would have to then grab these and put them into a Google form or something like that. Or do them just, at the tables. Hey guys, A, B, C, D, raise your fingers, or 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you think? So you could do this in any format. Day 2, kind of similar thing here. That's where it put my group activity. Again, I asked it to do one group activity across the 2 days. Scavenger hunt. It seems to love to create scavenger hunts. Something I discovered is it would create a pretty great idea for scavenger hunts, but never the specific instructions. And so then what I would do is say, please create the activities. Let's see here. So instruct small group students will find 5 real world examples. So create the activity. Let's see here. Please create the content for the group activity with better instructions. And just see what happens here. In the past, it's done a pretty good job based on how well I prompt it. Not sure that was the best prompt, but it is going through the scavenger hunt. And okay, yeah, I like it's breaking this out in minutes. One of your questions there, Israel.
Time's up.
Okay. I'll give myself, 2 more minutes since you had
I took more.
20 minutes.
And I still think I needed more than that. We could have done 20 minutes.
All right, so they're calculating unit rates, and I do like this. Creating a poster, that's not a 10-minute activity. That's way off. Gallery walk and present. Scoring rubric. Oh, I like that. It created a scoring rubric. So, this is okay. This is not probably to the level I've seen it do some of the previous explanations and content it's created. So, all right, so it had the group activity. Had an extended learning option, explore gas mileage differences in hybrid versus non-hybrid vehicles and calculate how much money, there's my timer, would save over a year. That's a fun one. That's a great one. I love it. Another exit ticket for that day. And then here's something I really like. Okay? It followed my commands for student instructions. Please complete the in-class assignment as we review how to find unit rates in real-life situations. You will work with your group on a scavenger hunt, then use your notes to complete. Now, something I noticed, it's mixing day 1 and day 2 instructions. So further training would be, create instructions for day 1 and then separate instructions for day 2 for the students. My thinking is I want something I can just copy and paste right into Google Classroom for the kids. And again, making my life easier. That was my goal with this. So there you go. And then it had some extra links. I'm going to guess both of these are broken links. It's done terribly at finding actual live. Broken. And let's see here. So I would almost take this out of the training, asking it to find additional resources. Broken. So what I'm guessing is that because IXL and Khan Academy are probably super well indexed on the search engines, and their website maps are probably excellent. It's easy for Chat GPT to find the specific things it's looking for, because overall it's done an excellent job of finding good videos on both and activities on both of those platforms. So there you go. That's most of what I came up with. Again, my goal was just to give me the framework with the basic resource links I wanted, the student instructions, exit tickets. Now, something you'll note, and then I'm going to turn this back over to you guys to kind of question and whatnot. Sometimes it would do an excellent job of including the times, like on the instructional plan. I never gave it instructions to do that. This is one thing I think I'd want to spend a little more time on, is making sure that it knows the times have to add up correctly, and that I want to see times on everything, because I think that is a key component when you're going through your lesson plan of how much time am I going to spend on each thing. So
those are the kinds of things that AI doesn't always do great at, because it's not living in our world. It's it's kind of a abstract thing. I even asked Gemini to create a Google form, and it just told me how to do it. I can create the app, but I can't do that. I can get it to generate Google Docs of assignments. So if it creates an assignment for you, it'll just give you an option most of the time to format this, like open it as a Google Doc, and then you can edit it in that. I was trying to get that to work, and then my time was out. The training data, I really like the way you can train it. I was doing a little searching while you're doing it. I don't think you can do that directly in Gemini in the same way. Commenters let me know. I think there's some ways that are a little more complicated. You can use, which I didn't show, Notebook LM. And Notebook LM, I use this for making assessments and stuff. You can upload a bunch of documents, up to 50, and then query those documents, which is nice, so you can limit what the sources are. Are you going to ask it to make an app?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So that was not in the scope of what I was prepared to do. So I have no idea what it would do. I'm not even going to try, Desmond. But I'd love to hear from Israel here on, what are your thoughts? What are your questions? What is your input?
Wow, no, there's a lot to unpack here. Now, you called it a training. What is the equivalent on Open? Is it AI? OpenAI, Desmond, yours?
No, that's what Aaron was using. So I was using Gemini.
So,
and that's what I was saying. I'm not aware of a training. What I would do on Gemini instead is to kind of have that stuff in a document saved and then copy and paste it each time. And I'm not aware of a streamlined way to do that in Gemini. I might be totally missing it. I did some quick Googling, and it looks like it's more
just
of a cloud
editing
product.
your commands and specify, like going back and editing a more specific command and adding it to what it already generated.
Yeah, just saving it in a document.
Versus the OpenAI Google platform, where you are training it first, and then let's say I wanted to generate another lesson plan for day 3 or day 4 with a different topic. I can just copy and paste that training, or it's already saved?
Yes, no, it's already saved. So that's the beauty of creating the training, is that little short prompt that was 2 sentences, my goal was to get that as short as possible and have it create as close to as possible what I was wanting from it with no new training.
All right. So I guess, it's close. It's this right here.
Wait, before you decide, one more thing I want to show you.
Yeah.
I generated this video yesterday. I don't think this is going to be deciding, but it's fun.
Hey, while you're pulling this up, Desmond, let's talk real quick here. Power to save time, obvious, right? I mean, I don't think you could argue that you can't save a ton of time. Okay. What I have found, so this is my own just anecdotal through about 9 or 10 different training scenarios. I think you could get this 95% accurate to where you're going to want to just breeze through everything and just check for accuracy, especially with links. Yes, still checking for accuracy with math. It does pretty good, though. It's gotten a lot better. And really, I'm not asking it to generate all the questions other than exit tickets. I'm asking it to find an appropriate activity on the website I want it to. And so I'm relying on that for math. Now, that math is arguably kind of the weak spot for AIs currently. A lot of people say that anyway, but I do think it's gotten a lot better. This would save a ton of time, I think, for the average teacher in terms of planning a class flow with, hooks and, appropriate jokes and, like Desmond showed, an engaging theme. Man, how much time could be saved here? So I think it's a huge win on time savings.
Which one of these platforms I've seen it advertised as a grading resource, how would you incorporate? How would you do, or what would it look like for each of
I
these
can't
platforms?
wait for that. I've tried it a couple times, and I've not had great success with that yet.
Does it work better for certain subjects than others?
Probably, and math might be one that, but it's not to the consistency that I would trust it yet. And so I don't know about that.
I think for like grading stuff, I would still like 100% use like an Edulastic peer assessment, things like that are built for that, and they have integrated AI. This to me is like the heart and soul of what you're doing for your daily work, for your engagement with the kids, and it's the planning. The tools, I think you're still going outside of this for the specific tools.
Yeah, and I'm looking, like, that's probably the feature that I'm looking most forward to is a grading assistant, like that would get good feedback. Just we don't have the time to do in a speedy manner and a quality manner to deliver the feedback to the students. And so that would be awesome. I've tried it, and maybe I'll go back and try it again, where I give a specific rubric and prompt and say grade it. And it grades it in ways that I wouldn't grade it. And so it's, I'm looking forward to that, but I don't think it's there yet. But
Desmond, you had something else to show us.
Yeah, I want to show this video. I don't know.
Did it generate the original video you were?
So this is one I did yesterday. Okay, so the video I will have Katrina add it in right now, our editor.
Do you want to buy 10 candies for $1 or 20 candies for $1.50? Which is a better deal?
All right, that was an awesome video. But it actually, I gave it a word problem, a simple word problem, and had the little bear talk about or give the word problem to these little chipmunks, and it matched the voice perfectly. I'll send it to you. We got to find a way to play videos on this.
Yeah, we need to do better with that. Hey, this has been great. Israel, I think we're waiting now. Okay, this is the moment. We already paused you once on this, but what's the verdict here?
I don't know. It seems like both of your platforms are still a work in progress.
Maybe we're a work in progress more than
for
anything.
the average teacher. It can be overwhelming not knowing what to generate. It sounded like some of you had already time playing with this. I mean, the trainings took several minutes prior, right? I guess a tiebreaker would be which one of these platforms can order my materials from Amazon and have them delivered.
We should have done the Amazon AI that they're coming out with.
Yes.
Amazon has one.
No, I think both. I think I'd see benefit in both. I mean, I think I can, and I don't know if we should be limited to one or the other. I think, I mean, I was curious to see. I've seen some good visuals out there. I mean, including some. I came across something called, I think it's Holy Vlogs, where it's AI Bibles, like it's current Bible stories or something like that, where it's. I don't know which one of which Gemini or OpenAI created it, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that one would be good for one thing. The other would be, I mean, especially right now, I was captivated by the training that you can do on OpenAI. I would definitely benefit from that because I don't have to go back. I mean, once I know what I wanted to do and command it, I can save it and I can use that. But I feel like maybe Gemini has a little bit more of that creativity. I mean, you had videos and games and
and I didn't even show podcasts. You can have it generate podcasts.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just I was blown away by both.
If your administrator came to you and was like, "You have $20 a month. I'm giving you to spend on one of these," which one would you?
Desmond, you said yours was a $20 subscription.
They're both the same price.
They're both.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I would have liked to see a little bit more of that artsy or creative from OpenAI. I don't think you would. I guess I would go with OpenAI because of the training that you can do with it. That would be the advantage.
I think it's super wise, Israel. There's a lot of wisdom in what you. I'm kidding.
Because he chose you, right?
I'm just.
Yeah, no,
He didn't actually choose me.
no.
No, the
I was
training data part of it, I think, really is a big seller.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I want us, I want to plead to our audience if, I think there's a bunch of different things that we probably miss with these products. One, because of our time, because we don't want to keep you here all day. The other is just because the stuff changes and updates, and there's so many features that we don't know them all. Notebook LM, which is the Google product, does a little of that, but I like the way Gemini does it for lesson planning. I think, or not Gemini, OpenAI does it for lesson planning a little smoother. That sounds
Yeah,
good.
no. As far as what is needed in a lesson plan, I think it came up on Aaron's creation. But it sounded like he spent more than 10 minutes creating that lesson. So I mean, that's
you're right. But here's the thing about it, and so I actually thought about this. How neat would it be? And honestly, I'm going to play around with this. I'm not going to promise anything, but I'm just going to say I'm going to be playing with it. To train a GPT for this, because the GPT it's very similar to what I showed you, except you have deeper integration with the training, and they're shareable. So the cool thing would be is what if somebody, okay, and I'm sure someone's done a better job, but somebody in a very specific environment, say it's Seventh Adventist school, say it's a charter school system, trained a GPT model that's shareable to all teachers, has all the standards uploaded, all the kind of the framework for lesson planning. And all you had to do as a teacher is jump on that GPT model and enter your 1 or 2 sentences, and what it spits out is exactly what you're wanting. To me, that's the value. And so, yeah, I honestly think the training is critical to picking a winner. So you did well, okay? However, I would also add, Israel, I do think that the creative stuff that you mentioned is super appealing. Canvas in particular, Desmond, that was kind of like, wow. Okay, if you spent like that brought it way up in my mind, because that's such a practical on the fly tool it's creating.
Sorry, that game you created, Desmond, was that just an online creation, or was it using a specific
Created it from scratch.
Okay.
And you can go back and give feedback and stuff. I was trying to, while you were talking, see if I could make it like generate me homework, like a homework thing, and then email the results to the teacher. It didn't do that at first. It did create like a timer. Let me see. I told it to fix it. So if it does something wrong, you can tell it to fix it. Let me see if it fixed it. No, it hasn't yet. So I don't know if it's just this specific thing. But it would be great, because right now I don't know how to get that data out. It's just practice. But I'm sure there's a way to do it, and hopefully someone in the comments will tell us. But it creates then a link that you can share on whatever platform to your students of that app, of that game. And you can say, like, yesterday I was playing with it and I wanted to have a little more movement. And so I had it create one that it ended up creating one where I had a little cookie that I could move with my mouse to different boxes to select the right answer. And so right now I think they're not highly animated yet. But yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. I'm going to use that for reviews and stuff, I think.
Yes, no, both. I mean, it's just impressive what AI is doing. And it's like, sometimes it's just, I don't know if it's overwhelming or scary. It's just, it's like the possibilities, right? Of possibilities. But yeah, no, I'll have plenty to do this summer. I'm preparing for, next school year. So thank you for sharing.
And most of the stuff in Gemini, except for the video creation, really is free. And so, I don't know about the apps, because I just discovered that after I paid for it. But a lot of it in Gemini is free. So you could pay for Chat GPT and then use the free Gemini stuff.
All right, we want to thank you. Thank Israel. Hey, thanks for joining us, Israel. This has been great. It's been great having you on. You were super wise today in your choice. I do take it personal that you did pick ChatGPT. And so I want to thank you for the wisdom you brought here to the table. But more than that, just thanks for taking the time to join us. It's been a great time.
Thank you for having me.
We want to thank all of you out there that joined us as we dove into how can AI help you as a teacher save time and even improve your lesson planning. We hope you picked up a bit as we did that today, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. Desmond.
Yeah, and send your EdTech problems to be solved to our help desk segment, and along with any feedback, and leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear more from you. And you can go to our website, EdTechUnpacked, where you can find our contact information, or you can submit an audio clip that we can play on the podcast. And also follow us on EdTechUnpacked on both Blue Sky and X.com. On Blue Sky, I've been posting some of my AI stuff, the video that we played today, and some other videos and content. And I'll try to post one of the apps I make for you guys to play with. And yeah, follow us on there.
All right, we've covered a lot today, and as Israel kind of alluded to, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming when you're processing so much new information. But remember, God has a great purpose and place for you in His plan, and we are stronger as we journey together, striving to give our best for the calling of His Spirit. May we always lend a listening ear to our students in need. May our attempts to engage students through technology never interfere with our calling to minister to the heart and soul of students in need. And remember, there's no substitute for great teaching. It's not just about the tools and technology you use, but how you foster meaningful relationships with your students to transform their lives. We'll see you next time.